Well, they don't want to give a stimulus bill because they want our country, the Democrats, to do poorly because they think that helps them with their election. See, I don't think so. I think it's bad for their election.
That was President Trump speaking to our Sinclair station WPEC in West Palm Beach earlier in the week. And the fight in Congress to pass a new relief bill goes on. Let's go now to senior Trump-Pence campaign advisor and former White House Director of Strategic Communications, Mercedes Schlapp. Mercedes, thank you for being here. We'll talk about that in a minute, but we had some news this week. President Trump has been nominated for a Nobel Peace Prize. Wow, that's your guy.
Who would have ever believed it? But it was really such exciting news. And I think part of this obviously has to do with his commitment and working closely with Israel and UAE to come up with this peace agreement. As we know, it's taken decades for any president to accomplish something like this. And it's a move in the right direction where we're seeing progress between an Arab nation, hopefully getting more Arab nations to cooperate and work with the Israeli government. And what we know is that this will lead to Middle East prosperity and peace. And it's why President Trump knew he could get the deal done, as you know him well, and he accomplished that. And that's why we're very excited about the news that he was nominated for the Nobel Peace Prize.
You know, it really, we can play around with these things, Nobel Peace Prize, but the reality is very important to the Middle East, to the peace process, to the safety and security of the whole world, really. I mean, it's a lot of the conflict that goes on between Israel and the Arab nations. It sparks a lot of animosity to the United States because we are such a close partner of Israel. Jared Kushner, I believe, is a big integral part of making that happen as well. President Trump, he doesn't ever seem to get the credit for some of the things he's done on the world stage.
Yeah, there's no question. And I mean, we could go down the list of ending endless wars. That's something that the president has focused on. We saw this week that the president is bringing troops back home from Iraq. And I think it's very telling. He completely understands the importance of how we should use our American military in a responsible fashion, as opposed to just trying to be involved in every single conflict across the globe. Obviously, we've seen the president work in stabilizing the Korean Peninsula by working with the South Korean leader, as well as, meeting with the North Korean leader as well. And he just understands what it takes to bring the different parties together, try to find, the middle ground there.
Yep.
And promote peace across the globe.
Mercy, I only have about a minute or so, and let's talk a little bit about the battleground states: North Carolina, Florida, Michigan, Virginia, Ohio. In 2016, President Trump, or candidate Trump, was winning. He was doing very well in battlegrounds, but he was losing the general popular vote. It seems to be different this time. He's still trailing in the battleground states. What's the strategy to get him up on top in those absolutely important election winning or losing states, in the 5 or 6 that I just mentioned, including Virginia?
Well, we've seen the polls wrong in 2016. I think this time around what we're seeing, at least in our internal polls, is that the president is leading or tied in these battleground states. In fact, what you're also starting to see, Eric, is that Joe Biden is on defense. He's having to spend money in states like Minnesota. Let's remember, a Republican hasn't won Minnesota. A Republican presidential candidate has not won Minnesota since 1972. And the public polls show Biden and the president tied. You've also got New Hampshire, Nevada. Again, Joe Biden on defense, spending money there. He's having to spend money to court black voters. And so I think you're seeing that strategy coming from the Biden campaign. You've seen him weak with Latino voters in Miami-Dade County, a crucial county for the Democrats to at least gain some footing there. And so I've been on the road for a long time with the Women for Trump bus tour. And what I see out there in terms of enthusiasm, in terms of the ground game that we've built in the last 2 years, we're in a strong position to win come November.
Mercedes Schlapp, everyone, thank you so much. And as always, Mercy, good talking to you.
Great talking to you.